Somebody else sent me this. It's a clip from or an article from the Washington Post and published today. And when I read this, I thought this pretty much describes the problem that sane people have. Sane people being those who would not vote for Donald Trump to be a goddamn undertaker or a gravedigger. The people who vote for him are just, there is something missing in their brains. There has to be. There has to be. How do you vote for someone who rips children from their parents and locks them in cages? I mean, that's just one example. But how do you do that? And for you people who did vote for him that may be listening to this, just a curse on your ass, to reach back into my Italian history, a curse on you. I mean, it's just unbelievable that you would do that, vote for him. But you would have voted for Hitler in Germany. I know you would have. Anyway, this is the piece. It's about this guy named David Andahl, Andahl. He died in early October of COVID-19, just as the coronavirus was really just beating the hell out of his home state of North Dakota. But that didn't keep this guy, who was 55 years old, from winning his race for the State House of Representatives yesterday. Now, he'd been dead for a month, and the people in North Dakota knew that. But this is this is what it says, and yeah, I'm laughing. With an apparent victory in North Dakota's 8th District, Andahl's election marks an unusual overlap between two of the most consequent events in the United States this year. A pandemic that has killed at least 232,000 people in the U.S., and the unprecedented election season it upended in the process. In-person political conventions over the summer were all but scrapped. Get out the vote effort went remote too, and many voters opted to submit mail-in ballots instead of waiting at the polls. Yet, with results trickling in around the country into Wednesday morning, few of the virus's political consequences seem as tangible or as shocking as Mr. Andahl's posthumous win. A little background. A cattle rancher and land developer, Andahl spent 16 years serving on the Zoning and Planning Commission in Burleigh County, including 8 years as its chairperson, according to the Bismarck Tribune. Earlier this year, he won a heated Republican primary against longtime state representative Jeff Delzer, who chaired the chamber's powerful Appropriations Committee. Okay. The district, which is north of Bismarck, has 2 House seats. We're talking state politics now. And Andahl teamed up with another candidate, Dave Naring, to earn endorsements. During the campaign, he won the backing of 2 of the state's most influential Republicans, Governor Doug Burgum and Senator Kevin Cramer. Cramer, who is a noted Trump ally, put his support behind the Bismarck rancher, quote, because we need more Trump Republicans in the state legislature, end quote, according to the Star Tribune. When the coronavirus reached North Dakota, Andahl, who was already grappling with several health issues, was, quote, very cautious, end quote, his family wrote on Facebook. They did not elaborate on what medical challenges he was facing. As the largely rural state saw a sharp increase in coronavirus cases this fall, at one point leading the country in the number of new cases per capita, Andahl contracted the potentially deadly virus. After 4 days in the hospital, he died October 5th. His family said on the candidate's Facebook page, quote, He has been a public servant for many years and was looking forward to the opportunity to serve in the state legislature. We are sad that his wish will not come to pass, end quote. And according to his obituary, Mr. Andal, who also worked as a race car driver and instructor, was so passionate about his home state that he was sometimes called Dakota Dave. North Dakota election authorities initially had no precedent on how to address the death of a candidate so close to Election Day. And the state's Attorney General issued an opinion later in October on how to proceed. Should Andal win, he said, the local Republican Party would be responsible for filling his vacant seat until a special election. On Tuesday, yesterday, he appeared to secure a comfortable victory in the race for 2 seats, securing 5,900 votes, or about 35% of the total. According to North Dakota state election data, only Mr. Naring won more with 6,700 votes. Two opposing Democratic candidates, Catherine Volochenko and Linda Babb, won less than 12% and 10% of the vote, respectively. Posthumous victories like Andal's are rare in the United States, though not entirely unprecedented. Since 2000, at least 6 dead candidates have won elections at nearly every level of government, from mayor races in small-town Tennessee to a U.S. Senate seat. Most recently, Dennis Hoff, a brothel owner and reality TV star, won a seat in the Nevada state legislature in 2018. About 3 weeks before his victory, Hoff, who had been backed by Roger Stone and Grover Norquist, was found dead at his Love Ranch brothel outside Las Vegas. Okay, and of course we're talking about all Republicans. Oh my God. This then, you see, could pose a real problem, could offer an explanation. I mean, the whole situation is a problem. But doesn't it offer an explanation about how messed up Republican brains really are? Only they're not Republican. Damn it. I have to keep saying this. I still have Republican friends who have disavowed this fascist Trump. They know Trump's not a Republican. He's a very sick, mentally sick man who's taking the country into his own personal hell. So he's not Republican. But this goes to show how sick some of these people who claim to be Republican, and Christian, how sick they really can be. I mean, what is it that makes you vote for a dead man? Except in this particular instance, the understanding that if your dead candidate wins, so to speak, your state's Republican Party gets to choose someone to run against, to hold the seat until the next scheduled election. So if you're a Republican in Montana and you voted for this guy, you walked into the booth yesterday and consciously, seriously voted for a person who's dead. Now, call me crazy, but that makes no sense to me. Even if you look at it from a strategic point of view, being, oh, good, we're going to vote for the dead man, and we know he's dead, but we're going to vote for him, so that the state Republican Party will appoint somebody to hold his, you might call it, unexpired term. So there's an unexpired term and an expired candidate. This is Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.